So first of all, can you just both talk about how you kind of got involved with the project, and what attracted you to your respective roles? If we start with Eileen.
Yeah, sure. I know Killиан for a very long time. We did Enda Walsh's, one of Enda's first plays. So the three of us were in cahoots for the last 28 years. We all remained friends and have worked together and separately and whatever since then. But this is the first time that all three of us are back together. And Claire, I'm a huge fan of Claire Keegan's writing. I was doing the Crucible at the National when I got a text from Killиан going, I have the script, would you maybe have a look at it? And so obviously you get a text like that, not very often. So I was like, yes, please. It's been a total dream to be part of it.
Also, character's name, Eileen.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's basically telling him who he should cast.
And how about for you, Emily?
I haven't moved in, I didn't know Killиan before this, but I got it sent from my agent, who was sort of saying, I don't know if it's big enough. And I went, hang on a minute. And I read it, and this is amazing. And I could sort of see that, I wouldn't be there for very long, but it would be absolutely, in terms of, an acting experience, the high holy table of bloody hell. This is something to get your teeth into. And it absolutely was that. And not just working with him, but also with Tim and this material. Tim, who kind of mines down inside your psyche in a way that's quite unusual and really, really interesting to play. Yeah.
And had you read the book before?
No, I hadn't. No, it was new to me.
And how about your kind of existing knowledge, I guess, on the true events? How did that kind of impact your performance?
Yeah, well, so I would have grown up, I'm from Cork originally, and Cork had one of the larger laundries called Besborough. And I grew up very much with the knowledge of that's where bold girls went. And an overhang of that kind of shadow, definitely. But obviously the last one closed in 96. But, it's very present. I went to college with a girl who had to fight to keep her baby. Yeah. So it's within touching distance for me, that history, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Emily, your character is quite intimidating in the film. Also very powerful in the community. What did you draw upon to kind of play that character?
Well, I have encountered that kind of behaviour in my own life. In my younger life, it's sort of people who have very strong control over young people's lives, and how it works through fear. If everybody's afraid of you, then you don't really have to do very much. Just a hint there and a look there, and everybody will just toe the line. But I think there's a sort of self-deception, that the sort of utter hypocrisy of leading a Christian institution that is doing the most unchristian act in secret every day, and is forcing the community to be complicit in it. There has to be a level of self-deception and a level of self-belief in your, some kind of moral rectitude, because it doesn't make sense otherwise.
Eileen, you've spoken about your existing relationship with Killиан. Obviously you play his wife in the film. What was it like kind of building that chemistry for you to kind of have that relationship with him on screen? Yeah,
so the way sometimes when you do when you have to do auditions or whatever, you sometimes have to do like chemistry meets, and even for if you were to play best friends and they'd like to see you on camera, that you can have this kind of spark together. And of course, like when you're married to somebody for 20 years, you kind of have to do an unchemistry meet, really, because you have to be able to just be in the room with them and, you know, not be in the room with them, you know, all that kind of. So anyway, our long history of knowing each other and loving each other and, you know, supporting each other is hugely, is like a massive gift for this film, because you get to be on camera with somebody who's a bloody brilliant actor, but you don't have to work. You don't, because it's all there. Just give it the space it needs. And there's kind of amazing moments, because Bill is a man who walks with his eyes down all the time. And then there's a scene where we meet each other's eyes, and it's like, you see me more than anyone has ever seen me. And that's scary, because she knows she's losing him at that point, you know. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Emily, can you talk a bit about your character and Kilian's character in the film, and also that pivotal kind of moment in the convent, with that scene that you have together?
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's not come in to confront anybody, but because he's discovered this girl, he's sort of, they bring him inside to make sure, to get his story straight, to make sure he doesn't rock the boat at all. But it's a scene that's not written with anything overt. There's no, now don't you go. It's all asking him how the children are, and, you know, it's a very, everything is in the silences, and it sort of hangs in the air. And he was like, I mean, he's like an unexploded bomb, you know, just this very, very vibrating with something, you know, just like not really speaking, not really looking, not communicating very much at all, but you just know that there's and I think that's unnerving for her. You know, you know, it was just a very interesting interplay of lots of complicated things. Yeah.
Such a brilliant scene. Such a brilliant scene. And for both of you, actually, what do you, so if we start with Айлин, what do you hope audiences will take away from watching this film?
As the book, it's like the ending doesn't answer anything. The ending just gives you questions. And I love that. I love that within a movie. There is no right answer. There is whatever you bring to it. That'll be your pathway out of it. And I think Claire Keegan writes novels that are unnerving and unquestionably hard, tough on her characters. She doesn't give you an easy out. And I know, in fact, that the film actually does the same, you know, that there is, the ending is just the beginning of the story.
Yeah, I mean, the film ends at a moment when you don't want it to end. I can't really speak for how other people will feel about it, but I felt proper rage coming out of it, like, not in a way where somebody was sort of saying, well, this has happened, but just that sense of your inner child being the sense of the injustice and the horror of it.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. You're both brilliant. And it is such a good film, honestly.
Thanks so much.